biggest snub of the reserves, I guess everybody is going with Trey Young. I think he was the biggest one. He was the one that made the most waves in this.
Let's have some fun. Whose spot should he take? Because we know he'll take an injured player's spot.
Tyrese Maxey.
I like that.
Maxey's been awesome, but he's the number 2 on the squad.
I would be taking him over Paolo before Tyrese Maxey.
The wild card is also where things get a little bit dicey. Agreed, which is why I said Banchero definitely makes sense. To me, I think Banchero should stay. We had this conversation on BR where the Magic have been one of the biggest surprises of the NBA season. They've fallen off pretty badly compared to where they started. They have been an injured team, but their offense has been horrendous. One of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. However, one thing remains constant. Paolo Banchero is him. He's an amazing basketball player, can score at 3 levels, can facilitate, plays good defense. I think Banchero deserved his spot most definitely. I also believe that Trey Young's one of the best offensive engines. And John was saying this on the Bleacher Report stream, and he's 100% right. He's become one of the most underrated players in this league. He said league history. I think that was a bit much. But Trey Young not having an all-star appearance is definitely disgusting.
This is where you're going to give me a headache because I know where you're going to go in the next segment. And you value winning a lot in this. You can't call Trey Young a snub if you value winning because your whole belief is Steph shouldn't be in because he has 21 wins. Atlanta has 23.
Agreed.
They're a 10th seed
and
team.
that's coming off a 5-game win streak.
Yeah, and that's in the East.
But that's also comparatively to a guy who is averaging
but then he
comparable numbers.
You should say.
But is the 5th seed.
But Maxey and Young's numbers aren't going to be comparable.
But Maxey's a 2 on his squad.
But it's still, he's winning more.
And Maxey's been amazing. I'm not trying to say this to knock Maxey. I just mean in the sense of I agree with you. They aren't playing consistent winning basketball. But it's not.
Got to bring back ethical hoops.
What he controls, they are one of the best and most efficient offenses in the game. And you mentioned it too. He hasn't been that bad of a defensive player either this season.
But Fox isn't the definitive one either. Based off what you've been telling me.
I understand. But he's averaging almost 28 points a game. And
Maxey's there too.
And he's upped his 3-point shooting from low 30s to 38%.
Sure. I think, and I don't care too much about winning for an all-star game. Huh?
No,
I saw the Whistle Sports video.
No, I'm sure.
No, we were talking about it. I didn't even see the video. We were talking about it in the car because he asked me. But I don't care too much about winning. I think winning is cool for the all-star game, but essentially, I think these mostly should be, for how are you performing. I think if it's award in the middle of the year, I don't think winning should be the end-all be-all because some teams can go on the streak. I guess you can give it a tiebreaker, but then you can't be wishy-wishy on either side. You have to keep it the same energy, be consistent. And I do think with me, since I have to be consistent, I think Trey Young should have been an all-star game. I think the way he's been performing, the struggles in Atlanta is not on him. There's still a top 7 offense in basketball. He's been showing effort on the defensive end. The team just as a whole isn't really been able to get it to go there. It's just not good. But Trey Young's been on the tear, and I think either Maxey or Banchero's spot is fine to me. I think, the way Orlando is streaking and the way they're doing their thing, Banchero's the head of the shark of that one. But I do think Philly has a similar case. They may have Joel Embiid, but Maxey being as great as he is this year has kept them at the top of the East. So, both guys have a winning case, but I think Trey Young, in my opinion, has been playing better than both of them this year. So I think either spot he can take for me. But yeah, I think Trey Young is the obvious snub.
I think that's fair. I think Paolo's spot, Bam Adebayo's spot, both those teams aren't winning at a high level. Kristaps Porzingis was a snub to me. I think he's been the Celtics' second most important player. It's him or Jaylen Brown. They switch all the time. And Porzingis has similar numbers to Bam Adebayo, and his team is the best team in the East. Kristaps Porzingis should be in the All-Star game as a reserve over Paolo or Bam, either one of the two. And I agree, Trey taking one of their spots as well. I think Dame is the worst guard in the East by a landslide. I think he's the worst guard. I really do.
Better, right?
And he hasn't helped his case either. Ever since he's been named an all-star starter, bro, I feel like it just gets worse and worse.
And I feel for him because there was a report that came out that he's dealing with some personal stuff, so I definitely feel for him. That's probably why his game hasn't been what it was last season. But I don't like when older guys in the league that have more recognition and fans take spots from players that are more deserving this year.
Yeah, they said it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think players have been more deserving this year. That's why I want to have a little fun. I have a would you rather, and it's with the East All-Star guards. Just comparing all of them. Okay. Obviously, Trey Young is going to be used as the common denominator here because he was reserved. So this would you rather Eastern Conference All-Star guards edition, Trey Young.
Just this year.
It's just this year.
Okay.
Trey Young or Jalen Brunson?
Jalen Brunson.
I'm going to go Jalen Brunson. You could have the argument that he's been the best guard in the East.
I still go Trey Young.
I'm going with Jalen Brunson. This year's Jalen Brunson.
Why do you think Trey Young's been better?
I think what he's able to do as a playmaker, as a scorer this year, while giving some edge on the defensive end. I know Brunson's been more efficient, but what Trey Young is
as a playmaker, that's facts.
Yeah, what Trey Young has to do for that offense on a year-by-year basis, like as a playmaker, that'll always keep him in the race. And he's been a scorer, so I would take Trey.
30% from 3 too for Trey. Very underrated, or very not talked about really, because they say his regular field goal percentage is not that efficient.
You know, Jalen Brunson, he leads the league in his stat where on every single ISO possession, he forces a turnover on 30% of them on isolation defense possessions. Trey Young or Tyrese Maxey?
I'll take Trey Young.
I'll go Trey Young.
I think this is Trey Young here too.
That's close. I mean, if you want to give Maxey, he's been the number 2, Trey number 1. I think that's fair, but the numbers are gonna be comparable.
Damian Lillard.
Trey Young.
I'm gonna go Trey Young as well.
I'm gonna go Trey Young, and I'm gonna go Trey Young pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
Offensively, I think there's a gap, and on defense, Dame has been one of the worst defenders in the league. Trey Young has actually been a pretty impactful defender, and he's trying on that end. I would go Trey Young. Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell.
I'll go Donovan Mitchell as well. Tyrese Halliburton.
It's just tough.
If Tyrese never got injured, this isn't even a thought. It's Tyrese Halliburton. But it sucks because Hallie 2 seasons in a row has been dealing with some injuries.
I'll go
when he was on the court, this was the number 1 offense in basketball, and still pretty high, even with him being out there. Pascal's done a great job. But I'm going to go Tyrese Halliburton, but it's a conversation.
I'll go Hallie.
I'm going with Tyrese Halliburton to begin the season. I think
number 1.
As of lately, Trey Young has been a little better, but once Tyrese finds his footing again, I think he'll get back to that spot.
Trey. I think it's been Trey. Halliburton to start the year was super hot, but he hasn't been the same super. Like in November, he was putting up 28 and 12. But he's been hurt these last couple of months. And Trey Young, he's been available. He's been healthy, and he's putting up some crazy numbers. And like Rip mentioned, he's the top 7 offense right now.
He missed some time with the concussion as well. Came back, and he's been better.
Like fact check myself to make sure that's not.
No, they are.
Oh, thank God.
They're one of the top. They might
no,
be
they're number 1.
Top 7.
What in offensive rating
yeah.
or the Hawks?
Rating.
They're number 10.
Oh.
I'm close.
I thought we said on BR they were top 5. That's why I was like, top 7 sounds good to me.
No, they're number 10 right now at 117.4, but the Pacers are at 120.7, number 1.
And pinning the 2 best guards in the East, because Halliburton's kind of falling off a little bit, Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell.
I'm going to take Jalen Brunson.
I'm going with Jalen Brunson too.
I would also take Jalen Brunson.
It's close. Donovan has been otherworldly on a team with less.
Yes.
That one's fucking close. I'm gonna stay strong. I'm gonna go Donovan. I think Donovan's been the best guard in the East.
Best guard, period. I respect that.
He's been phenomenal.
To me, it's 1-2 between Donovan and Jalen Brunson.
I don't hate that.
I don't think John was far off when he said he might be the most underrated player in NBA history. Because Trey Young. Because
okay.
He's averaging 26 and 10 in back-to-back seasons, and he has no all-star appearance to show for it. I can't think of another era in NBA history where a player averaged these numbers and didn't at least get rewarded in an all-star game.
That's a fact. I mean, for a while, Devin Booker was that guy until obviously he got his nod. But I'm with you. Trey Young definitely needs that acknowledgement. I mean, what he means to this Atlanta Hawks offense, you take him out, we don't care about the Atlanta Hawks, unfortunately. But definitely should be in that conversation. All time, I mean, you really have to sit down and think about all these all-time great players. But Trey Young definitely is in that short list. He's an unbelievable basketball player.
I think the West was all over the place.
Most definitely.
I feel like there's just so many legendary players in the West. KD, Steph Curry, LeBron, Anthony Davis. They're all playing at an elite level that is overshadowing what these other players are doing. Lakers having 2 All-Stars, if we're measuring it by winning 2.
In-season tournament.
I don't think that they should have 2 All-Stars. I thought there should have been a king on there, whether it's De'Aaron Fox or Domantas Sabonis. And I had a problem with Rudy Gobert not being on here. I really did. It bothered me. Rudy Gobert is the number 1 reason why the Timberwolves are the number 1 defense in the NBA. The reason why they're the number 1 seed, a top 2 reason is because of him and Anthony Edwards and their contributions to the team. I think Rudy Gobert should easily be an all-star even if it is over Cat. I think he's been more impactful than Cat. But at the end of the day, I also don't want Cat to lose his all-star spot because I felt like coming up in the league, whenever he would have monster numbers, he would drop 24 and 10 a night on a losing team. He would get held back from the all-star game because he was losing. And now that his team is winning and he's still playing well, he's averaging 23 a game, to not reward him with an all-star, I thought it also probably would have been disrespectful. So if it was up to me, I would have had 3 Timberwolves on here.
Can I ask you a question, though? Because people have been very consistent in asking this question that the Lakers don't deserve 2 all-stars. Why do they have 2 all-stars? How can you leave either of them off? How do you leave LeBron James off, who was voted by the fans? If Steph Curry wanted to start, the fans should have showed out. And Anthony Davis, who has been arguably top 2, top 3 best defenders in the game, giving you 24 a night, one of the best rebounders in the league, one of the best shot blockers in the league. How do you leave him out?
Because I thought winning matters.
They're top 9. They won the in-season tournament.
Top 9.
They're 2 games out of being the 7th.
So why didn't Laurie get a nod?
That is so funny.
Laurie's been awesome.
They're winning.
Agreed. Laurie
I think
definitely.
you have to have AD and LeBron in. Individually, they're having great seasons.
But again, answer that question without saying that winning matters because, again, they won the in-season tournament, and then on top of it, they're still staying afloat.
You can't have them off.
You can't.
You
Agreed.
can't.
So, but then, again, that statement to me is just more so they're the 9th seed. One of them shouldn't
I think
be
you
there.
replace Cat with Gobert, and I would like to see Fox in over Devin Booker or Paul
Because,
George.
again, it's...
Whoa, Devin Booker?
Or Paul George.
I think Paul George is, I don't know.
I think Fox needs to be on there, and all the other guys deserve it more than
Paul
those two.
George is a conversation. He's been awesome in his own right, too. Let me not just say that. Karl Anthony Towns was the other wild card, correct, Riv? You're the one.
It was Cat and Booker wild cards.
So I think you look at Karl Anthony Towns. This is the one that I compare to a Domantas Sabonis. So I think that Domantas Sabonis has been better this season. The efficiency of Karl Anthony Towns is there most definitely, but we understand his impact defensively is not there. We had this conversation on BR where even in the game where he scored over 60 points, he was still a liability because he couldn't play defense. You look at Domantas Sabonis, one of the best rebounders in the league right now, is number 1 in rebounding. One of the best passers in the league at the big man position, top 8 in assists. He's giving you the most points I believe he's had in his career. He's gotten somehow better from last season when they were one of the best offenses in league history. And he's not an all-star? That's where I kind of am at a crossroads here. I think Sabonis definitely deserved that nod. And De'Aaron Fox, you look at his ballgame, yes, he has not been that same level of player that he was early in the season, but he's still been pretty damn good. I look at De'Aaron Fox, and this is why I have issues, because people are trying to pinpoint the Lakers. But again, with Steph Curry, they're a 12 seed, but he's Steph Curry. You can't leave him out of the All-Star game, right? He's one of the all-time great players, but the Sacramento Kings deserve to have at least one of their players, because it's not like they're putting up average numbers. This guy, De'Aaron Fox, is top 10 in points per game.
I feel like the criteria is what people stuck on.
For sure.
Because in the East, Trey Young didn't get in because of winning, I assume.
I'm assuming too.
And he's having a phenomenal year, and he should have got in. And the same standard and criteria is not held for the Western Conference.
Agreed.
There was a bunch of players that were low seeds that didn't get in, and I feel for it because I think Steph is an all-star despite the record. Just because he's been the most clutch player in the league, his efficiency is still off the charts. He is legitimately just getting no help. So that's where I kind of feel for it a little bit. But it's tough to see players that are winning and they're putting up great production not be in the All-Star game. But if that's the criteria for the All-Star game, then they should be in. I know this is a hypothetical scenario and there's no way of proving this, but I think if you swap numbers or you swap names and Steph Curry is averaging Fox's numbers and Fox is averaging Curry's numbers,
Curry still gets in.
I think that Curry still gets in if it's Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Same thing with Davis. If Anthony Davis was having the season Sabonis is having, where he's playmaking at that elite of a level, I think Anthony Davis still gets in, even if Sabonis is averaging 27 and 13.
That one's tough for me because I still think that Anthony Davis has been better than Sabonis. But again, if you swap those, I mean, still you're getting the defensive production of AD plus playmaking now. I mean, that's nuts.
It's both are great numbers, but I do think that a lot of this, the deciding factor was who is it? It's Anthony Davis, it's LeBron, it's Steph. It's the most marketable players in the NBA. You know, it's a no-brainer to pick them over De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis and Gobert.
They got essentially every single superstar that's in the league in this All-Star game.
Yes.
Every single one outside of a Trey Young, who I think deserves to be in this conversation, most definitely.
The coaches picked the reserves.
Fact.
The coaches picked the reserves. OKC got 1 All-Star. Timberwolves got 2. The Clippers got 2. Denver got 1. The Kings got 0. The Suns got 2. The Pelicans didn't have 1. Dallas got their 1. And the Lakers got 2. What's the odd factor? A play-in team is the only team that got 2 All-Stars. If winning matters, be consistent. Drew is not being consistent at the table.
They won the in-season tournament.
That does not matter. It does
Why?
not matter.
Why?
It doesn't matter. I don't know why you think it matters for an All-Star game, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know how
because you've fallen off a cliff since then.
That's not. But again, look at all the great wins that we've had this season. Without LeBron and AD, beat the Boston Celtics. Yes, you guys were down. Arguably your best player. I would take. No doubt. Still a quality win. Have beaten OKC twice. I mean, again, we have some great wins.
You have more bad losses than good wins.
Which I've been very vocal about this. I would love to win those games. To me, I'd rather see us play our best against the best. We've beaten the Clippers 2 times this season. One time when they had Harden, PG, and Kawhi on the court. To me, I would rather us play the best teams in the league at our highest level and win, as opposed to what's been happening, playing the lesser teams and losing. I can live with that.
I don't mind the Lakers getting 2 All-Stars in. I think AD and LeBron have played like that. But the criteria is just not legit. Like, do
you think the issue is that the Kings have 0?
I think the issue is the Kings have 0.
Like if they just had 1 and the Clippers had 1.
But the Clippers, but here's the thing. And this is where, once again, the winning is not being consistent at the table, because the Timberwolves got 2. Well, they're the number 1. They're the number 2 seed in the West. The Clippers got 2. They're the number 3 seed in the West. What's been consistent? The Suns are the 6th seed and they got 2. What is the only inconsistent part out of all of this? A play-in team was able to get 2 All-Stars, and the Kings, which is not their fault because they both been playing at All-Star levels, which the Kings, who are a 5th seed, higher than the Suns and higher than the Lakers, higher than the Warriors too, they got 0.
If you had to rank Sabonis, Fox, LeBron, and AD in terms of who deserves the All-Stars the most, how would you rank them?
No, but also throw in Karl Anthony Towns. And throw in Paul George. Throw in all the second guys.
I would go LeBron, AD.
Okay, so there it is.
That's why I'm okay with that.
That's why I'm being consistent.
You're not, because you're not being consistent because you don't care about winning when it comes to them two.
They won the in-season tournament, and they've beaten all the best teams.
And they're still 9 seed.
But again,
where's the seeding? Why didn't Trey Young get in?
Well, I don't know.
Why do you think Trey Young didn't get in? Why did Boncaro get in for you? Because they're what?
Well, he's winning and also playing great.
So he's winning. Why would you take?
Trey has better numbers.
Trey has way better numbers. Trey's playing better.
It's different. And there was hella guards already put into the East. So it's more so
Maxey. You put Young over Maxey.
I said I would rather Young than Maxey.
Because of what?
Well, I also think that he's a 1.
Because one is playing better.
Correct.
You're all over the place.
How though? I say Maxey and Trey are comparable.
No, I agree.
I said Maxey's the 2, and Trey Young's been better.
But I agree. I said with Steph Curry and Fox. Now you're talking about ability. If it's an ability thing, do you think Sabonis should have got in over?
I didn't just say that Fox deserves to be in because he's the 5th seed. No, I partnered it with he has comparable stats to Steph Curry, and he's also 7 spots ahead of the Golden State Warriors.
What are they? 5 spots ahead of the Lakers?
They're 4 spots.
5. 1, 2,
5
3.
to 9 is 4.
Pardon me.
Yes,
4.
I know math.
4.
Okay.
They're a playing team.
I understand.
You're talking about a lock to a playing team. One of the worst.
You're dragging it though, like they're not 2 games out of the 7th seed.
I mean,
same shit happened last season.
I think they're one of the better playing teams, to be fair.
No shit. Everyone thinks that.
I don't do the winning thing. I don't think it matters, because if that's the case, we can all agree Laurie should have gotten over Cat probably, right? But why didn't he?
Argument.
Because what's the end factor?
I agree. Laurie definitely is one of these guys that we should be in this conversation too.
So where's the consistency? Is all
the Jazz have been surprisingly
you only
winning.
have 12 spots.
So where does this stem from? Why do you think Drew's not being consistent?
I just think he's not using. I think he's using the winning thing in the East, but not in the West when it comes to his Lakers, which I understand.
But not.
Which I don't even mind.
Not even so. Again,
is
if
there
you
a
want to say
specific
Trey's
player?
top 10, he's in the play-in.
Is there a specific player in the West that you feel like Drew should have in the All-Star game?
That Drew should have?
Yeah, based on the criteria that you think he is talking about.
I think. Wait, I don't actually understand.
Because here's the people that I'm saying deserve to be in the All-Star game off my logic, which I've stayed very strongly consistent about. I think you should have Fox in,
yes,
Sabonis in. Gobert is a strong question, or definitely a possibility between him and Karl Anthony Towns. That's it. And Lauri Markkanen, you made a very good argument for him.
Who are you taking out, though?
Again, like I said, because he's 12, and I understand that he is Steph Curry.
So Steph's not an All-Star game.
To me, he shouldn't be.
Okay, so who's the other one?
So
but
that's
he has to be.
So that's
Steph
what you're
has
stuck
to
on.
be.
That's what it is.
No,
Steph has
I wasn't
to
even.
be.
How is Trey? You know what?
Who's the other player though?
And then Sabonis to Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay,
So you're keeping Cat in.
no Cat, no Cat, no Gobert.
Okay,
I think
you're taking
Sabonis needs to.
nuts.
If one of the Kings should be in, this is my way of getting them in. Go
take
guard
Cat
to
out.
guard, and then yes, Cat would be the one.
You think Sabonis over Gobert?
Yes, I do. I do believe that myself.
Wait, so hold up. We're getting 2 Kings and only 1 Timberwolves?
No. I'm saying to get
Yes.
one.
That is essentially what you're saying.
But that's not what I'm saying.
But
I'm
you said
saying
Sabonis
that's the
over
first
Cat.
guy you take out.
I would exactly. That would be number 1 for me. That's how I would get the
So
King.
hypothetically,
Fox over Steph.
But that's if I had to.
No,
to
so
give another one.
hypothetically,
No.
Cat is out this road. He's the first guy he's taking
Yes,
out.
Cat would be the first one out.
So Minnesota gets 1, buddy.
That's fine.
And the Kings get 2?
No, they get 1.
Ooh, we're all over the place.
We are all over.
All right, again,
You just
like I
said Fox over Steph.
To get a King into it, that would be what it would be.
No, but you think
to get
Fox
the
should
guard
go
to
in
guard.
over Steph? So you will have 2 Kings in.
No,
regardless.
I only.
Fuck 'em.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, be real.
I'll
Stay
be
on
with
10.
you.
If
I'll
you
be
think the
with you.
Kings have 2,
To get 2, I mean, should they deserve 2?
Listen,
but
but
over, I
Over
don't
that
know.
12 seed?
No, I still
Remember we beat you
feel
guys.
Sorry ass squad.
we still own you.
they are bad. They are bad. Terrible.
Mickey
A
Mouse.
good team. Bad
Fox
coaching.
deserves to be in most definitely. I just think
If we had
that
Mike Brown, we'd have 30
Sabonis
wins.
to Cat as opposed to Curry and Fox is such a strong difference. It's such a strong difference.
So if you were to have Sabonis over Cat,
that's not even a question.
Fox doesn't get in.
Unfortunately. And I think Fox is the most deserving King.
So there's no player on the there's no
Fox or
player
Booker? You
that
think
Fox
Booker
goes
completely
over.
deserves it over Fox.
I don't know, man. That's tough. Because Booker's been awesome himself. And he's had to play a role that he's not usually played, which is facilitating point guard. And he's had, let me not say a rough time adjusting to it, but it's been
had highs
a
and
rocky,
lows.
exactly.
I'm gonna
He
be
would have
honest.
stretches.
I think that
I
I
have these
think
advanced numbers up, but I don't feel like saying
I
them.
think Cat is a bit
Paul George
underrated.
Clippers, Sabonis.
No, his efficiency is
George,
great,
top to
but his
bottom.
defense is
Not even
not
close.
good.
I think the defense thing is for some games, like the Hornets one for sure. All season long, though, Cat's defense has been solid. He's been engaged. He's been active. He's been attacking closeouts. He's been in position. The number 1 defense that they have right now, there are reasons why it's being uplifted, like Gobert, McDaniels, mainly. But I think Cat is playing a solid part in that, too. I don't think he's been a complete liability there. And he's shooting 44% from 3.
No, yeah, he's stroking it.
And they're the first seed.
Oh, Cat.
Yeah.
Cat's a stroker.
He is.
So you would get Sabonis over Gobert, too.
Yes.
Wow.
Again, they already have their representative. They should have 1 representative. The Kings should have 1. Having 0 is insane.
And the Lakers should have 2.
Because it's LeBron and AD, and they've also won the in-season tournament, and they're also.
So
two
then
of the
Steph
best
is in
15.
because of Steph.
Dude,
and that's what I said.
To drop the in-season tournament part.
No, you can't though.
Now you have to.
If you're the 9th seed.
They went 7-0, but again, the 9th seed doesn't matter to me when
But the
we
in-season
beat
tournament does.
But the in-season
It's,
tournament doesn't.
it's partnered
in the
with
the playoffs
you
come
guys.
around.
You
it
guys are
doesn't
getting
matter.
hung up on the in-season tournament because
keep
to you
fucking
guys,
saying it.
no, to you guys,
I don't think it matters
It's
much.
laughable. To you guys, it's laughable.
not laughable.
But on top of it,
It's
my,
It's a good
my-
W, but
no,
it's
my,
like-
my main point is that we've beaten all the best teams.
It's not laughable.
Name a good team. We've probably beaten them this season.
We beat you guys on Christmas. You got your get back. which
Yeah,
is
without
embarrassing.
LeBron and AD.
There's
At
just-
home, which you
but-
guys have only lost one
Let
other
me ask you a
time
question,
before
'cause
us.
I don't know this off the top of my head. Have
2
the Kings-
because of us. That's
have
what
the
I'm saying.
Kings been good
Clippers
teams?
lost to.
Facts.
Have the Kings been good teams? A lot of good teams?
Yes.
And they've also have a better record. Do you beat the bad
The Kings
teams?
have also had
The
highs
Kings
and
are-
lows too. They've
My
gone
whole
on
point is that
stretches
the
where they've
Kings are
struggled.
deserving. Yeah, you know what? Steph fucking isn't deserving. He's
Talk.
a fucking 12 seed.
Talk.
All
Get
right.
some wins,
He's
man.
fucking elite, putting up great numbers. Sorry. Win games.
We gave Luka shit for it. Got to give
did.
Steph for it.
If Steph had AD, maybe he would win 2 fucking games. I don't
I don't know. Apparently
he's
not
got-
so
he's got-
because he's a 9 seed,
He's
right?
got
That's such a
Kuminga now.
big deal.
He's got Draymond.
Hey, they
What's
only
the
five.
issue?
They only 5 wins off. 26 wins to 21. It's not crazy. So listen, hey, I looked at it already.
At this
but-
point in the season, it's
5 games.
not a
is
little bit.
A little substantial.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little
well,
substantial.
crazy, but we'll get there. No matter what.
It's like
Tyler
it's going to be hard
Adams.
for you to make up that.
They're not that
difference.
good.
Curry dropped 60
Did you watch the game?
and lost.
Did you watch the game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you know it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
The team just is not. good.
How can you make it where you score 60?
Wait, I think- wait, I
and it's
think-
his
wait.
fault.
Let me
It's
ask-
impossible.
Let me ask you a question. Y'all think him having Lester Quinns at the 4 is because they're not good or because it's a coaching problem?
No, it's a team problem.
I think it's both. I think it's Steve Kerr is not serious, but I also think there's some personnel issues on the team.
Like, it could be obvious
you
that
honestly
you're
think
elite.
they couldn't go nowhere else, and they had to go Lester Quinns at the
No, I think it's a wild scenario.
Trace Davis was sitting right
it's
there.
wild, but like with the perfect coach, what are you like the 8 seed?
Perfect. Where they're at.
The 9 seed. That's what I'm saying. Like I think
they're
there's
the
still
9th
some
seed
serious
with LeBron
issues
and
with the
AD.
team.
And we've also had injuries too.
To your role players, not
too,
your
but not
stars.
But
It's
again,
not to your
our
dudes.
role players definitely play a part in why we play basketball.
If LeBron and AD are out there, y'all should definitely.
No, you're right. At the age of 39, LeBron needs to be playing 38 minutes.
Steph's 36.
No, he's a nutcase, and he gets that same treatment, which is why it sucks that the Warriors, if you're Steph Curry and a Steph Curry fan, it sucks that the rest of the team can't follow suit because Steph Curry's clearly still in his
Steph
prime.
is undeserving of All-Star, so who are you putting in over him?
Again, De'Aaron Fox.
So then you're having 2 kings on the All-Star ballot.
You know what? Fine. I don't give a shit.
That's why I said we asked you to stand on 10 for 10
But
minutes.
my point being is
2 kings and 1 Timberwolf is crazy.
My whole point is I think Sabonis deserves it over a Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
He would be the first in,
yeah.
but number 2 would be De'Aaron Fox because it's Steph Curry.
No, 2. No, I think the Timberwolves deserve 2, but I think they should have had Rudy in before.
Exactly.
Yes.
I would have Rudy in before Karl Anthony Towns. He'd be number 3.
Would you have him in over Sabonis?
That's what I said. No, I have Sabonis number 1.
Okay.
It would go Sabonis, Gobert, Cat.
We did a bench cut. What did we do?
Yep, bench cut.
Star bench cut. And we all had, me and Joel had Gobert starting. He was cutting Gobert. So I knew that's
Who's
where
the other 2 guys?
Fox and Sabonis.
Facts.